Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So February's over. It's time for our February wrap up, which I know February is a short month, but this felt really short.
It did.
Probably
I'm
because of
also
the
enjoying
traffic.
your voice change.
Thanks. Being a prepubescent boy, it's great. So obviously I'm still recovering from being at two different events over two consecutive weekends. And I got sick in between.
Just be honest, you're sick. Don't blame it on the events.
I did call my doctor and request an antibiotic when I was in LA. So I thought I had pneumonia there for a hot minute because I was short of breath when I was walking around and stuff. And they put us in a haunted hotel.
I'm sorry.
We're in the Biltmore, and it's like seriously haunted. Like I was just praying the whole way to the bathroom at 3 a.m. I didn't want to say anything.
So I have a sinus infection. My cold thing turned into a sinus infection, and I called my doctor to try and get an antibiotic, and I have to go in.
I called mine. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have a sinus infection. And he asked me a bunch of questions. I'm like, I'm in LA. And I felt like my ear was going to rupture on the plane, which has never felt like that because it was clogged and it was hurting so bad, like when we were descending. And he was like, I got you, boo. And he called in the
He said
medication.
that? Your doctor said, I got you, boo?
No.
Wow.
He said, I got no, but I did see him yesterday because one of the kids had to go in and he was like, you cool? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
All right. So, let's get this on track.
Let's get this on track. Okay. First, I just want to say hi to Sophia. I got to meet her. She's one of our people, or one of our viewers when we were in LA, and it was really neat to get to see her, meet her. So I just want to say hi. Okay, now let's get this on track.
All right.
Okay.
So before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are always doing giveaways and fun things on our channel. And also let us know, how was your February? What were some top books for you that you really enjoyed? And if you want to tell us a book that you read in February that you did not like, you are welcome to tell us that too. We love to talk all the bookish things. And if you just want to tell us about your life, you can do that too. It doesn't just have to be bookish.
Yeah. We tell you all the books we didn't like. So
yeah, whatever you want to tell us, put it in the comments.
Okay. Okay, so tell me.
I was just going to ask you about the same question. Go ahead.
Okay. So for February, this was really this is a big number still compared to what most people do, but for me it was a low number, and a lot of it was because I was sick and then we were traveling for 2 different weekends. So I did 21 books for February, but I only had 3 5 stars, so I had to go to my 4.5s. Yeah. Okay, what do you have?
I had 23.
Really?
I
thought you read so much more than me this month.
I guess not. I knew that I was fairly consistent with having more books than you each week, but apparently not that much.
No. Interesting. Okay. Is what it is. How many 5 stars did you have?
I had 7.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not doing honorable mention. It sucks, but I made my 5.
Good job. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. You want to start? Or you want me to go with my first one?
You always go first.
I do always go first. Okay.
I need our system to work, okay?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Sorry, I had to cough along first. Okay. So, book number 5 for me for this month was Embers by Claire Kent. I almost said Claire Danes for some reason. Apparently, I'm losing my mind right now. Okay, so this is about Rachel and Cal, and it is the 3rd book in the Kindle series. So this is post-apocalyptic, And in this book, at the beginning, we see Rachel. She is living with her boyfriend. They're in their late teens, and the apocalypse has happened. And part of what happened with this apocalypse, when the asteroid hit the Earth, it caused a lot of people to get sick, and they got a sickness in their lungs, and they don't recover from that. And so, her boyfriend's dad or mom has recently passed away, and they're kind of left on their own. And that is where Cal, the boyfriend's dad, comes and rescues them and takes them to his little cabin in the woods. But by the time they get them there, the boyfriend is already dying. Like, he already has the lung infection, and he doesn't last for too terribly long after that. And then we see him get buried and deal with the whole thing, with the whole process. And then we fast forward a few years later, and that is where things are starting to turn the corner for Rachel and Cal. And Rachel's starting to notice Cal a little bit differently. He's, a man in his 40s, and she's a girl in her 20s, and there is a huge age gap here, but it's the apocalypse, and you're gonna have to take what you're given, apparently. I mean, I guess there's not much choice in the apocalypse. He's a little bit of a redneck, but we liked him, so it was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The audio's out for it now, so I'm waiting for.
It sounds like you're gonna cry.
I am just thinking about the apocalypse. Yes.
All right. So my number 5 read. This is always so hard to say, like, fifth read of the month, number 5. So number 5 on my list. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Is a series that I have been working on for a while, but I've read the last one this month, so I felt like this would be like the conclusion for the series, right? So it is Vegas Aces Bases Loaded by Lisa Suzanne. This is Alexis and Danny's story. So Danny is baseball star, and he's never wanted to settle down. He's actually known as like baseball's bad boy. And then we have Alexis, who is a singer, and she's actually like America's sweetheart. And they meet when she sings at one of their games to like the opening, and they meet, and then they end up doing some work together, and they fall like for each other really quickly. But Alexis has been micromanaged by her dad and her agent, who are is it her agent? Her dad is her agent and her manager. They micromanage her, and she has very little say in her life at all. And there's contracts, and they want her having nothing to do with Danny. So she kind of gets stuck in this situation of, do I give up everything I've worked so hard for my entire life to be with Danny? Or do I give up on true love because of all of these other things? So loved this one.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So the book that I have in my number 4 slot for the month is, gotta be careful when you say slot that it doesn't come out of something else, but that's okay. Is Tesoro by Emilia Rossi. So this was a new author to me, a new to me author that this is a mafia romance. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. This is about Sophia and Matteo. Sophia is a part of the Bratva. Her dad is the head of the Bratva. He's an asshole, and he's cruel to her. And a lot like there, he arranges a marriage between her and the Italian mafia, which is where Matteo comes in. He is the Don of the Italian mafia, and he lives in New York, and she's from Chicago. And he doesn't see her until on their wedding day. And when he sees her on the day of their wedding, they open the doors, and she's in a wheelchair, and she's pushing herself down the aisle. Well, he, as the Don of the mafia, he knows that image is everything, and strength is everything, but he doesn't hold whatever is going on with her against her, or like he holds it against her father for not telling him really what was going on with her, but he doesn't hold it against her. He just tells her that he wants a marriage in name only, and he does not want a relationship like that. And he, they go home that night, and come to then the next morning he sees her walking around, standing in the kitchen. He's like, what is going on? Well, she has a medical condition with her joints, and she, like, they pop out of socket. Her muscles are very weak. And some days she's in a lot of pain. She's always in a lot of pain. But some days she needs the wheelchair, and some days she needs her little walker, her rollinator, she calls it. And then whatever. But they have like this relationship is just, he's attracted to her from the get-go. And I really liked it. I don't even know what else to say about it. I just loved their relationship and their dynamic. And of course, there's a rat. There's always a rat. This is mafia, the whole thing. But I really love their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, coming in for number 4 for me is What's Left of Us by B. Celeste. So we have Lincoln. Lincoln is a detective, and his partner is shot and killed, and he blames himself for this. He is in the required therapy. He also was shot, and so he's had to go through physical therapy, and he's struggling a little bit with his life. And also, on top of all of this, his marriage is over, but he still seems to have feelings for Georgia because she is still very much in the picture. And this is kind of like a hate love situation. Marriage is over, but marriage is in crisis. I absolutely loved it. It is told through flashbacks. There's like mafia stuff happening. Like, I don't want to give anything away. It's got that romantic suspense to it. It's really good. So I normally felt like I wouldn't like Marriage in Crisis, but I've read a couple of those lately that I've really enjoyed. But again, they are actually divorced when the story starts, but we kind of see what's happened and why. Really enjoyed
I
it.
I read the prologue.
You did.
And it was good. I want more. I'll read it this in March. Okay. Well, book number 3 for me, the book that landed my 3rd slot, again with that word. When you're sick, it doesn't sound right. Anyhow, that is When She Needs Them the Most by Jillian West. This is an Omegaverse. I really liked this. Obviously, it's here. So this is about Chelsea. And at the beginning of this book, we find out that Chelsea's pregnant. She's an Omega. She does not have like an actual alpha where she's bonded with him, but she has a guy that she's been seeing. And then he started ghosting her after they were seeing each other for a little while. And she found out she was pregnant, and she's trying to tell him. And he's not answering the phone. He's not responding to her texts. He's not doing anything. And then we find out that he had a brain tumor, and he has since died and left her money. But he, knowing that she was pregnant, like, he got the messages, but he was already on his deathbed at that point. And so she decides to leave the area that she's in, the city that she's in, because she develops a stalker type situation. There's somebody who's after her because of this money in the situation. And that's where she moves into the small town, and she meets the guys. There's 3 guys that live next door to this house that she's renting, and they are all alphas. And when they see her, they just know that she's the one for them. They want to protect her. She's like 9 months pregnant, ready to pop at this point. And they do the craziest things. They know it's crazy. They know that it's irrational, the things that they're doing, but they can't help it because they're absolutely head over heels for her. And there's also, they work for a security firm, but do they really work for a security firm? Because there's more to the story than that. So, yeah.
Okay.
I just like their unhinged craziness. It was great. They know they're nuts. The best part. Okay.
The part about doing a wrap up right after we just did our 1-minute book recs is it feels repetitive because I'm
It
like, I
does, doesn't
just
it?
talked about this book and I have
I
to talk about it
know.
again.
I know. Bummer deal. Okay.
All right. So coming in at number 3 is Mr. Swoony by Piper Rain.
Okay.
So this is the 3rd book in the Nest series. I love this series so much. So we have Connor. Connor meets Eloise at her bachelorette party, and they have like an instant connection. Eloise has been questioning a little bit whether or not this marriage is really what she wants, but she's kind of just going through the motions, and little things are coming up and she's like, I don't know. But then she just keeps thinking, well, I think it's just nerves, that sort of thing. But when she meets Connor, they have this connection and she just feels so different about him. But the wedding's in a week. So she goes through with the wedding and she is literally standing at the altar when Connor, after a little liquid courage, busts into the church and says, "Stop the wedding." And the wedding is stopped. And at this point, she has to move somewhere because she can't stay where she's been. And so she ends up moving in with him. They start off as roommates, and you know how that situation is going to go. I loved it. Mr. Swoony is a great name for Connor because he is so swoony. He helps her with her bucket lists that she has and summer of extracurricular activities. And one time, this is just my favorite part of this whole book, is they're at the bookstore together and he discovers that they're, because I forgot it again, they are hockey players, if you don't know. And the cover's up here, so you probably caught on to that pretty quick since I keep forgetting to say that. But he discovers that there is this whole romance genre dedicated to hockey players and that the women are going crazy about this. And he is just floored and he goes back and starts asking his teammates about it. It is so much fun. I love this series.
Good. Okay. So my the second book that my book number 2 for the month is one that I actually read at the very beginning of the month. So I really had to go back and look and see what it was. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember. So that is Crossroads by Devney Perry. Have it here. This was great. So this is about India and West. So when India is I think she was like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that, you know, early pre-teen kind of sort of going in there age. She goes to a ranch with her dad who is dying, who has cancer at the time. Her dad and her mom take her on this vacation to this ranch, and she's part of this wealthy family. But this is where the dad really likes to go, and so they decide to vacation there. That is where she meets West. He's a few years older than her. His dad makes them play together, or makes West hang out with her. Um, and then every year, mostly every summer, for many years, she comes back to the ranch for a week in the summer because that is where her dad wants to go. And his cancer comes and goes. Her relationship with West, we see it in flashbacks and what happens to them as they age. And, you know, at one point, his dad does not have to force him to hang out with her anymore. But in present time, because we're getting this told to us in flashbacks, India has bought the family's ranch out from underneath them. She finds out that they're in debt and their things are starting to fall apart, and so she makes the father an offer that that he can't refuse. Now Wes has no clue what is happening until India shows up and is like, "Yeah, I'm the new owner of your ranch, and you're my employee now." And they had had a falling out. We don't know what happened, but a lot of things happened because of that. So this is like enemies to lovers, but it's also friends to enemies to lovers, which is very interesting. But I really loved it. It was so good. I thought it was great. It was great.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's book number 2 for you?
Okay, book number 2 for me. So I had my fun hockey romance. Now I have dark hockey romance. And number 2 is The Wrong Quarterback by C.R. Jane. We have Parker Davis here, who is our quarterback. And then we have Casey, who, oh, she made me cry in the prologue. Very sad. So Casey is going to go to the Tennessee University or college. I can't remember what they called it because of very sad reasons. But she's going there, and Gray goes to school there. She believes when she gets there, they're going to be boyfriend girlfriend, which is what happens. But Gray is a horrible boyfriend. He like doesn't spend any time with her. He's very invested in his frat, and he spends most of his time drunk. But Casey's just a really nice person, and she's just trying to make it work. And Parker one day sees her, and he is gone for her, like obsessed. He will do everything he has to do. Morals aside, he's going to get the girl and he is going to keep her. There's also some secret society at play in here. We definitely have like that found family, band of brothers type situation going on with some of the guys on the football team. We see everyone from over in the Pucking Wrong series because Parker and Walker are brothers. Absolutely love this one. So good.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry. Oops. They're right next to each other. It was really hard. um, yeah, I can't. I mean, I've read the first couple chapters of that, but I paused it to read a couple other things. I need to go jump back into it. So, yeah. Okay, you ready to know what my number one?
I will say that there is a point in the book where you're like, he's not as unhinged.
And then he proves you wrong.
Oh, he does more than that.
Cool. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Maybe I'll read it on the plane this week when I get on my third plane in 3 weeks. All right.
I have no comment.
Actually, it's like, no, it's not my third plane in 3 weeks because it's my fifth plane in 3 weeks because I got to fly home back and forth. Okay. Anyhow, you ready for my book that landed the number one slot this month?
Yes.
That is Adrift by
Mm.
Swati MH. I really enjoyed this one a lot. So this is about Darian. And at the beginning of this book, we see that Darian is at the hospital with his wife, and she has passed away. She had a pulmonary embolism shortly after childbirth, and so he is left a widow with his newborn son. And then we fast forward a year, and what we find out is that he and his wife met when they were young. They'd been married for almost 10 years when she passed and when they had their son. And he and his wife met when she was in her late teens. They were both in their late teens. He was just a ski instructor at the time. And her parents, her mother, did not approve of him at all, didn't think he was making anything of himself. And so she actually had cut ties with her family and went and eloped and married him and had never made up with her mother. And so now we're a year later. She also has a younger sister who is just turned 19. She's in college. She's 19. And since the sister has passed away, they've seen Darian at least one time at her funeral, but she's able to see her nephew quite often because Darian's mother will bring the nephew over to visit once a week. So she does have this relationship with her nephew. And she goes on a whitewater kayaking trip, or at least it's a day thing, not realizing that Darian owns this company that does the whitewater rafting or whitewater kayaking, as well as the skiing stuff. He now is the company owner, like he runs the resort and stuff. And so she has a little incident in the kayak where she's upside down and she has to get herself out, or she's going to drown. And that's where Darian rescues her. And that was after she, checked out his ass for quite a while. In the lodge earlier in the day, and then felt really bad realizing it was her brother-in-law, even though they didn't have much of a relationship. But he is struggling at this point, and he needs a nanny. His mom has some poor health, and so she volunteers to nanny for her 1-year-old nephew. But there's a huge age gap here. He's in his 30s. She's 19. She's still in college. She is also the sister to his dead wife, which doesn't look very good. But sparks start to fly pretty soon. So I did love this one so much. Obviously, it is in the number one slot, and I can't wait to go read the other book that I have, which is about one of Darian's brothers, who is a firefighter of some kind.
Okay,
So,
can we wrap this up? I really want to go read it.
I know. Okay. All right.
Okay.
What's your number one?
Okay. Do you know what it is? We should do that. We should start guessing what each other's number ones are.
Right now, being sick and not no, I can't. Maybe on a different day, I probably could. I probably should know what it is, but I don't.
It's okay.
Okay, what is it?
As soon as I show you, you're going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Ready?
I will. Yeah. Oh, duh. Okay.
So coming in at number one for me for February is Here and Now by Corinne Michaels. This is the second book in the Ember Falls series. And this is Miles. And Miles, he is part of the group with their competitive frisbee league. And in this book, they are taking it up a notch. They are now playing in a professional league. They're no longer in college. They're in a professional frisbee league. I love Miles so much. He is just like the book boyfriend of the year. So Miles is the principal at the school. He has a twin sister, Eloise. Eloise's husband has injured himself. Eloise is having a baby. And their other son really wanted to go to this hockey camp, but now that her husband has a broken leg, he cannot coach it. And she convinces Miles to be the coach. And this is where he officially meets Penelope and Penelope's little boy, Kai. He's already seen Penelope before, but this is kind of where they officially start talking. He then begins frequenting the coffee shop where she works, like sometimes multiple times a day, even though he hates coffee. So he buys coffee just to see her and then throws it away. Love him so much. But Penelope is on the run, and we don't really know what exactly is going on with that, but we do find out as the story goes on. So we have like romantic suspense happening, and we have Miles who is determined to love her and make her see that opening her heart is not as scary as she thinks it is, but he doesn't know why some of it is so terrifying for her. So love this one so much. And I'm going to give my favorite quote from the book again. I know everybody else who probably reviews this book is like giving away sappy quotes and like the wonderful things Miles says, but this one just made me laugh so hard. It's when they're playing the frisbee, which I just love so much. And they're not doing so hot. And he says, now she's going to see we don't, in fact, have big disk energy. We're more like floppy disks. And oh, I just love that big disk energy. Anyway,
Mm.
so number one read of the month.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Our top 5 each for February.
Yes. So, as part of our wrap up, how did everybody do with their unstuff their Kindle challenge?
Oh, I didn't even check. I'm sad. Just
I
sad.
tried and I actually went through my Kindle and I deleted some books that I just knew like that I randomly have gotten. I stopped doing the Amazon like stuff your Kindle day because I was overloading my Kindle with books that were it was just making it hard to get through, like
Mhm.
physically see what I want to see and everything. And so I actually went through and deleted some that I've had on there for a very long time that I'm like, I am not going to read this. And if I ever decide to read it, I am happy to either get it on Kindle Unlimited or pay for it if I need to. Like, I just wanted to clear up some clutter. So I actually took my Kindle books from, and I know yours is more than this, but I took mine from 63 down into the 40s, which I was very proud of myself for. But then I just keep checking out more Kindle Unlimited books, so I can't really get past where I'm at.
Mhm.
So let me know below if you would like to have more. I planned on doing it every month, but I don't know that it's really going to work for me. I'm happy to make the graphics, so if you guys want to participate, so if you want to see that over, let me know and put it in the comments, and I will make some more graphics.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't think my Kindle's getting any more on stuff than it is.
Mine's just continuing to get stuffed. Is what it is. So, all right.
All right. Make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out because we often drop extra videos during the week, especially on Wednesdays.
We do. We tend
And
to
we have
do
some
that.
great author interviews coming up, which I'm very excited about. Jessica is trying to set like some travel records. So our author interviews are out just a little tiny bit, but
Yeah.
let's see. Here in like another week, we should be back at it.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm tired of traveling, but I don't have a choice. So, with this next one. So, off we go again. South Carolina. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you at book club. I'll see you in the next video.
This comes out after book club.
I'll see you after book club in the next video.